Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtarashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtarashata Shishmar Srila Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Tirobhav Titi ki jai. Titi Palankari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Swaparshad Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimad Srila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Mahabhagavat Srila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Patadash Raghunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Vraja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jai Jagar Guru Srila Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Tirobhav Titi ki jai. Hari Bol, Yashoda Didi, Rukmini Didi, Dandavat Pranam, Raseshwari Mataji, and Indira Mataji. So I'm going to start out with reading Sri Prabandhavali. Actually, now it's called A Treasury of Holy Days. That's the new title of the book. So I'm going to read that chapter, and then if there's some time at the end, we can read something else. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I was thinking maybe we could read an article by Srila Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur. Like there's, yeah. Anyways, I have a couple ideas, but I want to see what your ideas are also. Hari Bol, Prajumna Prabhu, and Mantaramurti Mataji. All right, so let me share my screen. Here. Chapter 4 of A Treasury of Holy Days. The Disappearance Day of Srila Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Prabhupāda. By Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Today is the anniversary of the day of separation from Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashi Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Goswami Prabhupāda. It is a day of Panchami, and he also appeared on Panchami. He took birth in the home of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who is an eternal associate of both Sri Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just as the sage Bhagirath brought the Ganga to this world, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the great personality who brought the current of bhakti to this world in the modern era. When the so-called Goswamis were making a business out of bhakti while engaging in varieties of worldly enjoyment, when, in the name of Mahaprabhu, so many kinds of bogus philosophies were prevalent, such as Saki Beki, Smarta Jati, Sahajya, etc. At that time, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur came. After that, Prabhupada appeared in the form of his son, Bimala Prasad. If these two great personalities had not appeared, then Shuddha Bhakti would not exist in the world today. And from the day that they disappeared, society began reverting back to its previous condition. At first, there were 13 known Sahajya cults. Then our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami, counted 39. And how many there are now, no one knows. I am also seeing how things are gradually changing. We saw how renounced the devotees were before. For instance, we never used to see socks on the feet of any Vaishnav, and we never saw devotees wearing such sweaters and chadars as we do now. They wore only the bare necessities of clothing and a cheap blanket, even as they attended Mangalarti in the morning cold. It is only after the disappearance of Prabhupada that devotees can be seen to wear these other things. They would live with such simplicity, eating only shak, rice, and a thin dal. But in comparison to them, just look at the way we are living. And I speak for myself also. Their knowledge, their renunciation, and their spiritual conception were of such a high standard that in comparison to them, we are so inferior. The period between Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur was an age of darkness for Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Living at that time were some real Vaishnavas who performed real bhajan, but mostly, just as we see sometimes today, the so-called Vaishnavas only performed rituals for wages. When someone would die, people would call the Gaudiya Vaishnav Babajis, who would come and chant some ceremonial kirtan and perform other rituals for wages. And there was so much misconduct in their behavior. Seeing this, Bhaktivinoda Thakur thought, these people are Vaishnavas? The conception of Mahaprabhu has completely vanished. What can be done? He was very worried. Bhaktivinoda Thakur endeavored to his utmost, but changes did not come about in his lifetime to the degree that he would have liked. He went from town to town and village to village, inaugurating the Nam Hatta. In each village, he would assemble 4 or 5 of the religious men. He'd form a committee and hold programs for Harinam Kirtan on Sundays. Gradually, it spread from one village to the next, but overall, his preaching was limited to Navadvip, Kolkata, and the rest of Bengal. He published the magazine Sajantoshani, and through its medium, he gradually published Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and other books in installments. He made a circle of devotees, and also revealed Navadvip Dham through his writings, although the scholars of society and the Sahajyas didn't accept his ideology. Then, Prabhupada appeared in Puri. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a district magistrate, he would be transferred here and there, but he would always keep Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Chaitanya Charitamrita with him and explain them to his son. Prabhupada received so much instruction from him. But we should understand that Prabhupada is an eternally liberal. There was no one in the world like him. Without being educated in school or college, he learned all subjects very quickly and became a great scholar in Sanskrit. His English was so high that even professors of English could not understand it. I have been told by some learned Western devotees that when reading his Brahma Samhita, they must repeatedly consult the dictionary. And his Bengali was also of such a high standard that even eminent scholars found it difficult to follow. He said that spiritual language should be like that. It shouldn't be so simple to understand. As one progresses spiritually by remaining in the company of Vaishnavas, he will be able to understand spiritual vernacular. There's a really exciting publication in the works now. It's being done by Gaudiya Mission, but they're making a dictionary for all the unique terms of Srila Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur, because he used a bunch of terms which you won't find anywhere else, like little phrases and yeah, dharma dvaji. I don't know. There's like lots of different things, and so they're making a dictionary for it. It should be out, I think, soon or next year at least. At the age of 7 or 8, Prabhupada began worshipping a deity of Kurmadev, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave him the Maha Mantra and other mantras for his puja. At the age of 18, all of the scholars of astronomy in Bengal gave him the title Sarasvatī. After that, he attended college, but he quarreled with the professors, saying, "Will I learn from you or teach you?" When he abandoned his studies, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and other family members became concerned, so they took him to Puri, where he began studying at Satasan Ashram, which is where Sarup Damodar and Raghunath Das Goswami had lived. Vaishnavas used to regularly meet there, and now Srila Siddhanti Maharaj has a mat at that very place. There, Prabhupada began giving readings from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Present there were some Babajis who considered themselves Rasik. And when they heard Prabhupada's explanations, they became inimical to them. Seeing this, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur took him away from there and had him begin teaching the son of the king of Tripura. Prabhupada had a great library of Vaishnava literature, and having read through it thoroughly, he began teaching the son of the king in such a way that the boy accepted a chanting mala and began wearing tilak. He became detached from the world, and gradually, hearing Harikatha became his sole interest. Seeing this, the queen became very annoyed and said to the king, "This boy will become useless. Then after your demise, what will happen? Who will make offerings to our departed souls? He will become a renunciate, and everything will be ruined. Quickly get rid of this teacher. Give him 400 rupees to go. We don't need money. We need a son." This was approximately 100 years ago, so you can imagine how much 400 rupees was worth back then. The queen put so much pressure on her husband that in the end, he approached Prabhupada and very humbly said, "It is a matter of great unhappiness that our family members are not in favor of you. They are afraid that the boy will take up bhakti and become a renunciate. I consider that it has been our great good fortune to have met a person like you and had our son educated by you, but the others don't understand." The king approached Bhaktivinoda and offered the money to him, but without accepting it, they left there. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur started a homeopathic shop. When the shop was unsuccessful, he thought, "I was not made to run a shop anyway," and he went and purchased some land in Mayapur. After locating the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, he installed deities there of Gaur, Vishnu Priya, and Lakshmi Priya, as well as small Radha Krishna murtis. After Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance, Prabhupada was determined to follow the Navadip Dham Parikrama that his father had written, and to attract people, he invited great kirtan performers to attend. He set up a large tent. Thousands of people came for the parikrama, and there the katha of Shuddha Bhagavad Bhakti commenced. Gradually, qualified youths of only 16, 17, and 18 years, whose hearts were soft and pure, came forward, and Prabhupada made them into brahmacharis and sannyasis. With great ease, he was able to train them, but those who were over 50 years old, like parrots, could not be taught anything new. Then devotees of our Guru Maharaj, Ban Maharaj, Bhakti Pradip Tirtha Maharaj, Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj, Aranya Maharaj, and Narahari Prabhu came. In the beginning, there in Mayapur, Narahari Prabhu would offer arati while Prabhupada played the hand gong. He played the handheld gong, and gradually the preaching started. The convention of Tridandi Sannyas was established, And the result is that today, the name and conception of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are being vigorously preached. Within 11 years, from 1926 to 1937, preaching was spread everywhere. But before that, so much time was spent in merely setting the foundation. Prabhupada published many magazines, a daily, weekly, monthly, in the Sanskrit, Bengali, Hindi, Orisen, English, and Assamese languages. And very easily, we have all inherited the fruit of his endeavor. He established the Gaudiya line very strictly with great endeavor. And there were so many difficulties in his preaching campaign that we cannot even imagine them. There was so much opposition to Prabhupada's preaching at that time that his disciples were not even allowed to enter mandirs in Vrindavan or Navadvip. Prabhupada began culturing the creeper of devotion by cutting off all the unnecessary branches and sub-branches. How? First of all, he revised the Guru Parampara. He said that we are of Mahaprabhu's line, and he removed the names of those who were not fully perfected. After establishing the names of Brahma, Narad, and Vyas, he went straight to Madhva. Prabhupada accepted the names of those Prabhupada accepted the names of those from whom the people of this world would get the most benefit, and mostly they were brahmacharis. For the most part, he didn't accept the names of those who had been grihastas for a long time. After Madhva, he recognized some special personalities, and then he went to the name of Madhavendra Puri. Everyone accepts him, and then from him, there is Ishwarapuri, Sarup Damodar, the 6 Goswamis, and then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. At this point, some had divided into the lines of Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Vakreshwar Pandit, Lokanath Goswami, and others. But Prabhupada said, "We accept in our line those who are fully perfected souls, who know the correct Siddhanta, and who are Rasik, wherever they are." In this way, all of the various lines were presented in our parampara in one place or another. There are so many lines of disciplic succession, but Prabhupada said that we will recognize the Guru Parampara, not the disciplic succession. The Guru Parampara is composed solely of those who are Bhagavat Gurus, even if they made no disciples, and there is therefore no direct disciplic line coming from them. Some of them may not have been Some of them may not have initiated any disciples at all, but still they are Jagat Gurus. In this way, with all-pervading vision, he collected all the Mahajans and made what is known as the Bhagavat Parampara, or Guru Parampara. After the departure of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so many familial disciplic lines arose, but Prabhupada ignored them and gave recognition to Baladev Vidyabhushan and then Jagannath Das Babaji. He accepted only those in whom he detected the real spiritual siddhanta. Simply receiving the mantra in one's ear and wearing a dhoti or other cloth given by the Guru does not qualify one as the Guru's successor. Bhaktivedanta Thakur did not receive any mantra from Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So how was he his disciple? He was a disciple of his conception, his feelings towards Krishna, his conception of ras, and his conception of tattva. This is a disciple. Most people cannot understand this, but being able to see with such insight, Prabhupada declared this to be our line. Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj was also not an initiated disciple of Bhaktivedanta Thakur, but he embraced all of Bhaktivedanta Thakur's sentiments and conceptions, and due to this, his name appears next in the succession. At this point, all of the Babajis said, "Whose disciple is Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī? Who gave him sannyas? Why doesn't he wear the same cloth as Sanatana Goswami did? In our sampradaya, after Nityananda Prabhu and Sarup Damodar, everyone wore white cloth, but we see that he wears saffron cloth and has accepted a danda. How can he do this? But what relation does wearing either orange or white have with bhakti? Is there any relation? Kiba Bipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kene Noy Jai Krishna Tattva Veta Shei Guru Hoy. That's from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 8:128. Whether one is a Brahman, a sannyasi, or a Sudra, if he knows Krishna Tattva, then he is Guru. So what to speak of being a Vaishnav? Prabhupada was thinking, we are not qualified to accept the dress that was worn by such great personalities as Rupa, Sanatan, Jiva, and Krishnadas Kaviraj. We will remain in the ordinary dress of sannyasis and will not accept the dress of Paramahansa Babajis. Remaining within the Varnashram system as brahmacharis and sannyasis, we will keep the ideal of that Paramahansa dress above our heads. Otherwise, if we accept that dress and commit sin activities, it will be aparad at the feet of Rupa and Sanatan. Some Babajis criticized him for training brahmacharis and giving them the sacred thread. But our Guru Mahārāja said that those Babajis were all fools, like animals. They wore Paramahansa dress and gave the elevated Gopi mantra to anyone and everyone who came. Yet Prabhupada was only training brahmacharis and giving them instructions on how to control the senses. So which is correct? First, Prabhupada wanted us to understand what is Siddhanta, that is Jiva Tattva, Maya Tattva, and Bhagavat Tattva, and how to avoid Maya in the forms of Kanak, wealth, Kamini, women, and Pratishta, prestige. These are the beginning instructions. Gopi Bhav is very elevated. First, we must understand that I am Krishna Das and begin taking Hari Nam. But these Babajis immediately gave their conception of Gopi Bhav to whoever approaches them. Then they all chant, I am a Gopi, I am a Gopi, and in this way create a disturbance in society. Every morning in our mat, we sing the song in which Prabhupada established the Bhagavat Parampara, Krishna Hoite Chaturmukha. In his composing of this song, he accepted all of the great perfected personalities from different lines and declared, this is the line of Gaur. If Prabhupada had not come, then today would the name of Mahaprabhu and talks from Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad Bhagavatam be found anywhere? Here in Mathura, in Vraj, and everywhere else, Gaur Kirtan and Hari Katha are still going on and have not vanished. Therefore, the world will forever remain indebted to Prabhupada for his preaching. He never approached wealthy people, but he would take 1 paisa from each person he met. And our Guru Maharaj did the same. Although he was from a wealthy family, he would take a wooden box with a slot in it into the market, and also onto the trains, trams, and buses. He would speak with people from all classes, and in this way, the preaching spread in all directions. We should also engage in such a pure form of preaching, and not just remain idle after hearing this. As if giving an injection, you should all encourage others to start taking Hari Nam and hearing this conception, whether you are a man or a lady, married or unmarried. And don't think that because one is not educated, he cannot do it. Did Haridas Thakur have any college degree? Did Raghunath Das Goswami and others? But their activities were first class, and their conceptions were extremely high. We are regularly hearing tattva from scriptures such as Śrīmad Bhagavatam and Brihad Bhagavatamrita. But how will others also get the opportunity to hear it? After hearing it, we should take it to many other people, and this is the duty of each and every one of us. With great love, we should take Harinam and encourage others to chant it. We should hear Siddhanta ourselves and then help others to understand it. That will give Prabhupada great pleasure. To the very end of his life, Prabhupada said, We are mere laborers. We are peons of Bhagavat Katha. He never made himself a permanent living situation in an opulent temple, but always kept moving. These days we do things a little differently, but we should always try to follow not only Prabhupada's philosophical conception, but the ideal he showed through his own behavior as well. These ideas serve as the very foundation of bhakti, and if this foundation is not established, then we will fall from hearing the higher levels of katha. For instance, Bhaktivedanta Thakur has written a song entitled Vibhavarishesha, which includes lines such as Yamuna Jivana Keli Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Nama Sudarasa Gao Krishna Jasha Rakovachana Manamora. Shri Krishna is the life of the Yamuna. He is always engaged in amorous pastimes, and he is the moon of the gopis' hearts. Sing the glories of he whose name is pure ras. O mind, always remember these words. In our mat, we sing this every day, and there is certainly some benefit in it. But do we understand the complete bhav contained within it? Nothing remains outside these lines. Not the Raslila, not the Brahmar Git, not the Venu Git, nothing. Everything is there, and all of the previous lines of the song are similarly saturated with both ras and tattva. Pula Shara Jojaka Kama. What is the meaning? The complete Kam Gayatri has come here. Shara means an arrow of Kam, of desire, which Krishna places on his bow. How many of these arrows does Krishna have? 5. His sidelong glances and his eyebrows, cheeks, nose, and smile. So tell me, is there anything remaining outside these lines? Helping the people of the world to understand these topics is the real task of the Guru Parampara, those who are conversant with Ras, the Diksha, and Shiksha Gurus. If we examine one line of the song after another, then for so many days, so many lectures could be given, and our hearts would become full of ras and divine bliss upon hearing their full meaning. So much bhav has been put into each word by Bhaktivedanta Thakur, and it is the same with the compositions of Narottam Das Thakur and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. To understand what our acharyas have given, great intelligence and bhav are required. And if we have such bhav in our hearts by which we can understand the poetry and special characteristics of acharyas like Prabhupada, then wherever we may go, it will always remain with us. In explaining the line Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam from the first verse of Mahaprabhu's Shikshashtak, Prabhupada wrote that it is the Gaudiya Mat's mode of worship. There are 3 stages: the beginning stage of sadhan, the intermediate stage of bhav, and the final attainment produced by that bhav, which is called prem. Sadhana is that practice by which Shuddha Sattva Bhav arises. And if it does not arise, what one is practicing cannot be called sadhan. If we're not bringing it about through our practice, then it's not sadhan. We can all examine ourselves and see if we are practicing the sadhan that makes bhav arise or not. Are the symptoms there or not? We may not even have the proper aim in our sadhan. If someone is striking a match, what is his aim? To obtain a flame. And if after striking one match, a flame is not obtained, then he'll take another match and try again. Our endeavor to reach the sadhya, our final attainment through the practice of sadhan, is like that. Kshud anuvritti, spiritual hunger; tushti, satisfaction; and pushti, strength. These three things should appear, and if they don't, then we are not really practicing sadhan and cannot be called real sadhaks. Whatever we do should be done with this vision. By performing this activity, bhav for Krishna will arise. Is the match producing a flame or not? If we see that our sadhan is producing attachment for material results, such as pratishta, then we are moving in the wrong direction. Therefore, We should understand this point well. The sole aim of kirtan is to make bhav arise. Cheto darpana marjanam. In our practice of Nam Sankirtan, we have our minds become purified or not? Are our minds going towards wealth, women, material enjoyment, and prestige? Do we consider material enjoyments to be poisonous or favorable to us? Material enjoyment is poison. Haridas Thakur was taking Harinam in a solitary place when a very beautiful woman approached him and said, Prabhu, you will no longer have to cook for yourself. You won't have to fetch water, and I will also serve your tulsi plant. You can just chant Harinam all day, and I will perform all of your tasks. And if you become fatigued, I will massage your feet. But did Haridas Thakur accept her? All types of material enjoyment should be understood to be poison, whether one is a man or a woman. If we consider these things like luxurious food and accommodation to be favorable to us, then the mirror of the mind will not be cleansed, and the reflection of one's own spiritual form will not be visible. The mirror should be made pure. There should be no dust or anything on it. We should be able to see what is our illusory body, what is our spiritual body, and what all of our faults are. But it is our great misfortune that instead, we only see others' faults. The first type of contamination affecting our minds is thinking that we are the material body. We are eternal servants of Krishna, but the most prevalent dust on the mirror of the mind is thinking that we are the material body. Endeavoring for the happiness of the body is dust on the mirror, or contamination on our minds. There are so many anarthas, sarup brahm, bewilderment concerning one's actual form and nature, asat trishna, desire for temporary things, hriday dorbalya, weakness of heart, and aparad, offenses. Besides these, described in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Madhurya Kadambini, are utsaha mai, false confidence, ghana tarala, sporadic endeavor, vyuda vikalpa, indecision, vishaya sangara, combat with the senses, niyamakshama, inability to uphold vows, and tarangarangini, delighting in the material facilities produced by devotion. There shouldn't be a comma there, right? Yeah, anyways, doesn't matter. Then there are 4 types of aparad. Dushkritota, arising from previous sins. Sukritota, arising from previous piety. Aparadota, arising from offenses in chanting. And bhaktuta, arising from imperfect service. Wait, those aren't 4 types of aparad. Those are 4 types. Those are another 4 categories of sins. Anyways. When all of these are eradicated, then our real selves, the Atma, will reflect in the mirror of the mind. But for now, our vision is distorted. We consider the pain and happiness of the material body to be our own, and our worldly relations and worldly loss and gain to be related to our very selves. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. This is the forest fire of material existence in which we are time and again taking birth. When the mirror of the mind is purified, then this great fire will be extinguished, and we will progress along the path of sadhan for Uttama Bhakti, that devotion which is free from any tendencies towards karma or gyan. That devotion will be kleshagni, that which burns away so many types of difficulties. It will not happen all at once, but gradually. First there is Shraddha, then Nishta, and then we will move towards Ruchi and Asakti when our anarthas will have been mostly eradicated. However, those anarthas may still exist in root form. One may have to shave his head, but has even one hair completely disappeared? Its roots are still there, and hair will again appear after a couple of days. In the same way, when we have reached the stage of Asakti, only the roots of anarthas will remain. Externally, they will not be visible. If a favorable environment is given, to them, that is, if we keep bad company or offend a Vaishnav, they will reappear. But upon reaching the stage of bhav, they will be finished forever. Then there is shubhada, which is of many varieties. In the worldly sense, shubha means having wealth, good progeny, position, fame, and knowledge, and keeping the body healthy so that the effects of old age will not come prematurely. But what is real shubha? What is real shubha? Having ruchi for the name and lila katha of Bhagavan and for the limbs of Bhagavad Bhajan Sadhan. Having eagerness for these things is shubha, and that shubha is the lotus flower described in the words Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. If the rays of the moon fall upon it, it will bloom purely, without blemishes. How will such pure bhakti arise in the heart? The Shakti of Harinam is like the rays of the moon, which make the lotus of the heart gradually bloom, taking it through the stages of Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, and Bhav. When it fully blossoms, that is the stage of Prem. But for the Shakti of Harinam to act in this way, our interest must be drawn away from material life. In the same way as two swords will not remain together in one scabbard, Maya and Bhakti will not remain together in one's heart. Vidya Vadu Jivanam. Nam Sankirtan is the very of Vidya Vadu. Vidya is that by which we can know Jiva Tattva, Maya Tattva, and ultimately Krishna. It does not mean knowledge of mundane science or how to make money. Real Vidya is Bhakti and ultimately assumes the form of the Vadhu, or consort of Krishna. First, there is Sadhan Bhakti, then Bhava Bhakti, and finally Prema Bhakti. After entering Prem Bhakti, one's devotion develops through the stages of Sneha, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag, Bhav, and finally Mahabhav. The embodiment of Mahabhav is Srimati Radhika, who is the Vadhu, or consort of Krishna. Over and above the Sandhini Shakti, the Samvit and Hladini Shaktis fully manifest as Radha Bhav. This is Vidya Vadhu, and even if one ray of this transcendental potency enters into our hearts, it is called Bhav. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam. And if we are chanting Harinam with this Bhav, then with every step we will experience increasing ananda, divine joy. In the Mahamantra, there is Krishna Nam and also Hare, which means she who attracts Krishna away to the Kunja, Srimati Radhika. This bhav is so deep that it has no end. And this is the Nam so saturated with ras that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought to this world. When we chant the Mahamantra with this bhav, then every step will submerge us deeper into the ocean of divine bliss. Purnamrita Swadanam. What is Purnamrita? The complete nectar? Prem. And one will perpetually relish it. Absorbed in chanting the name in this way, our acharyas such as Jayadev Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur could envision divine pastimes and compose such nectarian literatures. And Sarvatma Snapanam. One will never desire to resurface from that ocean of nectar where there is not even a trace of Maya, meaning that they have entered into Sarup Siddhi. This is the explanation of the first verse of Mahaprabhu's Shikshashtak, given Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Prabhupāda, whose return to Sri Radhakrishna's eternal pastimes we are commemorating on this day. Okay, well, it's nearly 8:30, so maybe I won't read anything else. That was kind of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Thakur's instructions, though, so we got to read something by him, kind of, through my Gurudev. But what about maybe we could sing this song Jaya Re Jaya Jaya Re Jaya Paramahamsa Mahashaya. That's our Sujanar Buddha Radhita Pada Yugam. Hari Bol Sudevi Didi and Gopikant Prabhu and Shasharmaji and Hari Priya Didi. Oh, one thing. You might have seen, I shared it on Facebook. I shared it in our WhatsApp group also. Anyways, there's this video, A True Experience of Separation. Let me share the link in the description. But yeah, I spent all day, quite a few hours yesterday trying to record this amazing article by my Param Gurudev. I'm sharing it there. You'll see it in the comments. Yeah, it's an amazing article that my Param Gurudev, it's something that he spoke. The Daita Dashakam, Kishore Prabhu? Okay, yeah, I kind of remember that. That was in one of the Rays of the Harmonists. Let's check it. Let me find. If you can remind me which issue that was in, that'd be helpful. Anyways. Or maybe let's just do this one. Just because time. Yeah, this. Let me open it up. This is from Rays of the Harmonist, Kartik 2010, issue 22. The Prabhupada Vandana. So there's a note about this. The author of the song, Shri Gopal Govinda Mahanta, has introduced himself herein as Vaishnav Das. Shri Gopal Govinda Mahanta was a resident of Sri Hatta in the present-day Bangladesh. He had been completely unacquainted with Sri Gaudiya Math. Yet, after hearing the glories of Srila Prabhupada's spiritual mastery, his acharyatva, in 1925 he composed this simple and extremely charming song, giving a brief account of Srila Prabhupada's preaching activities. Sung to Sri Gaudiya Math at the time of the Math's anniversary festival. Over time, it naturally gained great appreciation and acceptance from all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples and followers because it is full of the sweetness of Srila Prabhupada's compassion and the perfection of his teachings. Now it is sung in almost all Gaudiya Maths on the appearance and disappearance days of Srila Prabhupada, and it has been included in the Bengali edition of Shri Gaudiya Giti Gucha, authorized by Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja. And we are for an audio recording of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Mahārāja personally singing it and relishing this song. Available at purebhakti.com, SP Vandana. Generally, everyone glorifies their own Gurudev and the Vaishnavas who are already well known to them. Yet in this case, a person who had never met Srila Prabhupada has glorified him with matchless beauty after simply hearing and reading his teachings. This demonstrates Srila Prabhupada's extraordinary among Vaishnavas of his time. Actually, would you like to hear the Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj recording? I have it on my computer. Or should I just sing it? Might be fun to listen to that. Actually, I don't know actually what to do. I'm a little bit, anyways. Should we read it? We can read the translation and then sing it. Okay. Let me look at the comments to see what everybody's saying. Okay, Yashoda Didi wants to hear the recording. Okay, let me just open it up. Where is it? It will be in music. It will be here. Where is it? Give me a second. Okay, Shri Guru. There it is. Jai Re Jai Re Jai. Open it with QuickTime Player. Here. It's 13 minutes long though, just letting you know. But here, I'll just put my mic on my speaker. It looks like there is a line missing though. Right? So let's just sing this song. Shripata ke tari dham Thakur Shri Narottam Tomate tahara guna dekhi Shastra Siddhanta Sara Shuni lage chamatkar Kutarki kadite nare phanki. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do these lines here. Ashuddha bhakti mata jata upadharma kavalita heriya loke ramane trasa hani susiddhantavan upadharma khana khan sajanera barale ulas. Asmartamata jaladhar Shuddha bhakti ravikar Achadila bhaviya antare Shastra sindhu manthanete Susiddhanta jhanjavate Udaila dig digantare Stane stane koto mata Stapiyach nishkapata Prema seva shikaite jive Amatera Vaishnava gan Kore sada vitaran Hari guna katamrita bhave Shuddha bhakti mandakini Vivahayani Shitala korilo tapta pran Deshe deshe nishkinchan Prerila Vaishnavagan Vistarite Hari Gunagan Vistarite Hari Gunagan Purve Jata Gora Hari Mayavara Cheda Kori Vaishnava Korila Kashivasi Vaishnava Darshana Shukshma Vicharete Vicharetomi Hetaksha Tematito Tematito Śrīla Varanasi. Tematito Śrīla Varanasi. Taiva Varnashrama Dharma Hari Bhakti Jar Marma Shastra Jukte Korila Nishchoy Jnana Yoga Karma Choy Mulya Tar Kichu Nai Bhaktira Virodhi Jadi Hoy Bhaktira Virodhi Jadi Hoy. Okay, where are they sing up to? 1 second. Let me go back to the recording. Sorry, let's just sing that line also, just so that we're singing everything. So, Abhinav Raja Mandal Goda Bhumi Premojwal Prachara Hoilo Vishwamoy Koliyate Pashandir Attachara Koila Jara Tasavara Dosha Kama Kori.
সাধ্যমত জলধর শুদ্ধ ভক্তির অধিকর আচ্ছা দিল ভাবিয়া অন্তরে
I'm sorry. Let's just sing from this because I keep on getting lost. Like some of the verses are getting skipped. So let's just sing it from here. Kuliyate pashandira attachara koilo jara tasabara dosha kama kori jagate koilo jagate koshna taroriva sahishnuna hana kirtaniya sada hari Shri Vishwa Vaishnava Raja Sabhamate Patra Raja Upadimane Vibhushita Vaishnava Vishwara Mangala Lagi Hoyacho Sarvatyagi Vishwavasi Jana Hitera Korite cho upakar jate para upakar Love jiva Shri Krishna sevai Dure jai bhavarog Khande jahe karma bhog Hari para parma jate pai Jiva moha nidragata Jaga vaikunta duta গড়িয়া পাঠাও ঘরে ঘরে উঠো রে ভাই আর তো সময় নাই কৃষ্ণ ভজ বলো উচ্চাই স্বরে কৃষ্ণ ভজ বলো উচ্চাই স্বরে তোমারা মুখারবিন্দ Vigalita makaranda sinchita achyuta guna gatha শুনিলে জোড়ায় প্রাণ, তম মোহায় অন্তর্ধান, দূরে যায় হৃদয়ের ব্যথা। অজানি আমি মহাশয়, যশ বাঞ্ছা নাহি হয়, বিন্দু মাত্র তোমার অন্তরে, তব গুণ বিনা ধারি, মোর খণ্ড বিনা ধরি, অবশেষে বলায় আমারে। বৈষ্ণবের গুণ গান করিলে জীবের ত্রাণ, শুনিয়াছি সাধু গুরু মুখে, কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি সমুদয় জনম সফল হয়, এ ভব সাগর তরে সুখে। ते কারণে এ প্রয়াস, যত বামনের আশ, গগনের চাঁদ ধরিবারে, অদোষ দর্শি তুমি, অধম পতিত আমি, নিজ গুণে ক্ষমিবা আমারে। শ্রী গৌরাঙ্গ পরিষদ ঠাকুর ভক্তি বিনোদ, দীনহীন পতিতের বন্ধু, কালিতম বিনাশিতে আনিলেন অবনীতে, তোমায় কলঙ্ক পূর্ণ ইন্দু। করো কৃপা বিতরণ, প্রেম সুধা অনুখান, মাতিয়া উঠুক জীব গান। হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে নাচুক জগত জানে, হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে নাচুক জগত জানে। বৈষ্ণব দাসের নিবেদন, বৈষ্ণব দাসের নিবেদন। জয় রে জয় রে জয় পরহংস মহাশয়, জয় রে জয় পরহংস মহাশয়। শ্রী ভক্তি সিদ্ধান্ত सरस्वती, श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती। गोस्वामी ठाकुर जय, परम करुणामय। गोस्वामी ठाकुर जय, परम करुणामय। दीनहीन अगतिर गति, दीनहीन अगतिर गति। जय प्रभुपादा, जय प्रभुपादा, प्रभुपादा, जय प्रभुपादा, जय प्रभुपादा, 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 जय प्रभुपादा। जय श्री भक्तिवेदांता सरस्वती प्रभुपाद की जय। All right. Jai Shri. Oh, I didn't do Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Saparshara, Śrīla Prabhupāda, Saparshara, Śrīla Prabhupāda. Jaya Saparshara, Śrīla Prabhupāda, Saparshara, Śrīla Prabhupāda. Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva. Jai, Shishi Guru Bharangandar Vikagiri Bhari, Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai, Nityalla Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Nityalla Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Nityalla Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai, Nityalla Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Nityalla Vishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Nityalla Vishta Srila Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Nityalla Vishta Shishmar Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Nityalla Vishta Swaparshad Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nityalla Vishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Goswami Prabhupāda ki jai, Tadiya Shubha Tirobhav Titi ki jai, Titi Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Jai Srila Gorkshara Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Shri Rupa Nugogoriya Guru Varga ki jai, Saparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhyai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. So I didn't have time to read the translation because we're going to start a program here at 10 minutes from now. So I need to start getting ready for that. But thank you so much for joining, everybody. And yeah, check out that article by my partner Gurudev if you get the time. It's less than half an hour long. And yeah, it's nice. You can also find it on vineofdevotion.com. Yeah, just go to vineofdevotion.com and it's the featured article there. All right, Dandavat pranams, everybody. Rukmini Didi and everybody else. Haribol. See you all tomorrow for continuing our Śrīmad Bhagavatam reading. I'll probably go live tonight also to read more because there's so much to read today. But yeah, tomorrow morning we'll continue. Haribol.